everyone, welcome back to another episode here on This Is Just the Beginning. I hope you're well, and I hope the last few weeks have gone really well for you. I know that a lot of people are struggling at the moment, now that as soon as it literally turned November in the UK, and I know we're talking about the weather, but it turned cold and miserable, and yeah, it's not fun, and it does affect our mental health a lot, as you probably know. Today, I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about a topic that we do all struggle with, especially over the winter, and that is burnout. Now, I'm not talking about just academic burnout, although that is the main topic of this episode and just in general when we think of burnout, but I'm thinking about how burnout affects every single person we know in so many different walks of life. Like, for example, obviously there's academic burnout if you go to school, college, uni, whatever you're doing with that. Then there's workout burnout with work. Um, and again, that is usually endless because you always have to keep working, and that is a very annoying thing. And I'm not in that field yet. I'm still at uni, but I can imagine how hard that is to keep that motivation up. And then there's burnout with like social life and just being around people because I get how hard that could be, especially as we want to kind of dissociate ourselves from our social lives and friends and family over winter because we get into this sad state of mind, I guess, and our motivation just goes straight out the window. And I did talk about this on a different episode recently. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch base, I guess, on the topic of burnout today because recently I have definitely been struggling with it. I have been like a victim of burnout my whole life, especially in terms of academics. Um, I've always had this persona of just putting like really high expectations on myself, and that is purely self-inflicted. My parents have always been those parents that say, literally do the best you can in anything, whether that's sport, academics, like getting into a university, social events, getting a job, like getting these good opportunities through school or whatever it is. They've always been so supportive and yeah, just really said, just try your best. That's all we care about. And they genuinely mean that. Of course, they want, like during school, they wanted us to get 3 A stars at A levels, and they wanted all of us kids to get into obviously top universities. And we did that. And for that, I can only really thank my parents for that. But whenever I say that, I'm like, no, because it was like my own effort got me into university, despite all the struggles I faced from the ages of 15 to 18 and still struggling with those issues today, but I know how to deal with them. Like, despite all of that, I still got into a top university. And if you look back on that, you think, wow, that is impressive. And that alone should, like, the struggles you face as a teenager should be enough to get you in anywhere you want to go in the future. If you've dealt with your mental health struggles, overcome certain obstacles along the way, like, that is enough in itself. You don't need to put added expectations on yourself in a day or in your whole life in general to validate yourself. And I think this is a really, really big thing with burnout. A lot of it is self-inflicted because you think you've got to be doing more. And those days where you don't want to do more and you literally just want to have a day in bed, or it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you want to stop working, and then there's a voice in your brain that says, no matter how big or small that voice is, depending on you, there is that part of you that is like, no, I need to do more. What are you saying? You can't go rest. And that is a really big problem that a lot of people face, especially at school, especially at university, when it feels like you constantly have work to do and you have no time to rest. But it's so important that we allow ourselves to do that, to avoid this spiraling, damaging effect of burnout. Because it's a continuous cycle as well, especially when you do have work from September to June at school and you have these constant deadlines and you can just feel yourself burning out each time. Now, last week, the week before, I really faced this really horrible feeling of just, I was so overwhelmed and so anxious about everything. and I had so many deadlines to do. And luckily, it's reading week this week. I mean, it's the end of reading week now, which scares me. But I've got a lot of my work done. And I look back and think, okay, that was only getting started on 2 research projects and recording these podcast interviews for this job I've got with the university. And yeah, those are my 3 main goals, and I've done those 3 main goals. But there is that voice in me that says, Ellie, you've not done a lot each day. Because, for example, doing those podcast interviews, that has involved me staring at my screen all day, and that really drains me. Or even if it's just for 3 hours, because it usually took me that to like do one episode of that podcast. Even just 3 hours just staring and just literally concentrating on voice for like 3 hours straight, that was enough to like send me over the edge. Because like, yeah, my course is so demanding at the moment, but with that on top of it, like, that was completely new material and something new I had to do, and that was a lot to get my head around. So that was one main form of my stress over the last few weeks, just getting my work done. And now that I've made a significant start on these research papers, I mean, one of them, there's a long way to go, but I know what I'm doing now. And this job was just on my mind a lot. But I've got it done, and I do feel better for that. Although this week my brain has just been so fogged up because I'm constantly thinking about rewriting my paper completely, a different point of view, and like I'm sleeping, but I'm always thinking about stuff like that. And I'm trying to get into the Christmas spirit. I know it's only November, but since bonfire night is out the way, like for me in England, like bonfire night is one of my favorite holidays. It's so underrated because it can be like any age group. Yeah, but when you're kids, it's so fun. Like you just get sparklers and roast marshmallows and shit. But as you're older, it kind of changes. And now we kind of have bonfire nights out with our family. Like when you're a teenager, you go to like field parties or bonfire nights and stuff like that. But now it is just about family, and I'm becoming more and more aware that I'm growing up and I don't like it because I really value family time. Last year, whenever I came home from uni, it was kind of for me. And I was still living in that kind of not childish mindset, but I was just entirely focused on me, which was okay because I was going through so much shit and I didn't have time to grow up during my first year at uni. I did not have time to grow independence. Obviously, I did grow independence because I was living away for like half a year. I did come home a lot, as you know, but like I didn't have time to mentally kind of grow at all because I was still stuck in certain mindsets. And every time I came home, I kind of took on my childhood self, obviously back at home in my old room. Over the summer, we redecorated my room, and I think that has helped a lot because it feels way more like guest roomy as well. Obviously, it's still my room at home, but I do feel more um, like when I come home now, it's kind of just to see everybody. It's not really for me. Yeah, this week I wasn't supposed to come home for the whole week. I was going to go spend time down in Loughborough and then maybe go and visit my sister. And now I'm really thinking that I should have done that. And oh my God, I was meant to be in Bath last night for a Taylor Swift club night. And me and my sister forgot to like get tickets and arrange it because we talked about that for ages. And she texted me last night saying, we're meant to be out tonight. And I completely forgot. But yeah, so I came home this week literally because I was so burnt out. And I was like, okay, I just want time at home with my mum, homemade dinners, and yeah. And it has been a really, really nice week. It's gone way too quickly for my liking, but here we are. And that just shows how much you have to recognize when you are burnt out and when you do need a step back and a break. Because if I had stayed at university this week, yeah, I would have got my work done, but I would have felt that pressure. And even if I wasn't confined in my room, you know, I probably would have studied in coffee shops, gone on campus, done stuff with friends, for example. Like, even if I had done that, I still would have felt like I needed to see people. I needed to see my family, just for a change of scenery as well. That's why I come home, and just to kind of remotivate myself again. And although this week I've still felt down this week because yeah, my mind is just frazzled, and I do need a really big check-in on myself because I haven't been doing my journaling or any of that this week. Although every morning this week I've been quite proud. I've had very slow mornings, even if, I mean, they have really involved me getting up. I've been doing my yoga in the morning again, which is really nice. And then I get my coffee and then I start on work. And then I do my workout after that if I want to, blah, 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 etc. And it has been really nice doing those like slower mornings. But as I said, work is still always on my mind and I'm trying to really disconnect myself from that. So when I do go back to Warwick on, I think I'm going back on Sunday before the second half of the term starts, I am going to have a huge self-care session, and I'm going to do that as well this afternoon before I go out tonight because I just need it. I need a pamper. And I tried to do the dressing gown hair wrap last night, and for me, it either works really well or it doesn't. And last night, my hair was too wet when I put it in, so it's gone really frizzy this morning. So I'm gonna have to straighten it, and I'm really sad because I forgot to bring my crimper bag with me, but it's fine. But that would have looked so good with my outfit, and I forgot my eyeliner, and that's really annoying me. Anyway, we all really struggle with this idea of burnout because we all have these super high expectations on ourselves, or even if it is parent expectations, regardless, there's still this pressure to do well in anything you're doing, and it's really annoying. I really don't like that we put all this pressure on ourselves because we can just say we're the fault of that, and that is true. But I don't know. I kind of just want to redefine how we work and how we view academic achievement and validation. And I think, I don't know, this starts with ourselves and just starting to be like really kind to yourself. And that is a really hard process, as I do always talk about, but it's so vital that we do start doing it. And even though I haven't been journaling, etc., this week or the past, I think it's been like the past 3 weeks, I have not really been doing it, or I have, but it's just been so like blindly doing it and not really putting my thoughts and attention into it because I've been so tired when I come around to doing it at night time and I just can't really think, or I fall asleep halfway through a sentence, which I did do a couple times. Or in the morning, I'm just rushing like to get the bus to school in the morning, and it's just not right. And I think I really do need to be aware of this lack of, I don't know, self motivation and self care at the moment. During winter as well, it's so easy to go down this road of just focusing all your attention on academics because you don't want to focus on your feelings. And that is what has happened this week because I've had so many other feelings about, like, I'm not going to get into it because it is a completely different topic, but um about like the usual things, and then there's just loads of added stuff on my mind at the moment, and it's just not helping, I guess, obviously. But I do need to work my way through it. I do need to do like a whole bloody 3,000 word journal essay on it. I'm already doing 3,000 word essays, but that's besides the point. My one of my favorite podcasts by Emma Chamberlain is this topic about overachievement and burnout, and I just feel like it's not even society that has drilled it into our minds to be clever and to achieve well in life. Yeah, I think, well, in a way there is, because there is that fear that all young people have is, for example, if you don't go to uni, you're not going to do well in life. That is something that my school drilled into us. And a couple of my friends don't go to university and they didn't want to go. They hated school and they felt so bad for not going, and just it made them feel worse about their life choices. And my best friend, for example, still hasn't got a clear life path, and it's been a year. So her gap year like ended. She did a gap year, like loads of my friends did gap years, and it's becoming more and more popular, but then they end up going to university, and she was one of the only ones that didn't. And she was just getting so scared that she didn't have a job, she didn't have anything really to do. But now she's got a really good job, really good pay, and it's like a bit residential as well, so it's just a completely different scenery and stuff. So that does show that university is not the be all and end all. If your school, like if you're listening to this before you're going to university, if your school has instilled the same kind of concepts as mine did, it's hard. And so when I was thinking of dropping out of university last year, that was on my mind as well. Like, oh, if I drop out, I'm fucked for life. Nowadays, there's so many successful people who did not do well in school, who did not go to university. And yeah, you could say that, oh, they were lucky because they found YouTube or TikTok. Yeah, that is an aspect of it. And I do envy those people, but that they still work for it. YouTube isn't just a little side hustle. It starts as a side hustle, but then when you get bigger and bigger, God, I can tell you, I'm not a YouTuber, but I can just see how much work goes in as a content creator. For example, those who are content creators, not really on YouTube, but on like all social media platforms or even just Instagram, they've got to post pictures every day, do brand deals, do like adverts for those brand deals, record reels, record videos, link it to their TikTok, link it to their podcast, whatever. There is so much going on. And that's why I really like at the moment having my social media as kind of my diary and my outlook on life, I guess, one way to say it, instead of like a job. And of course, I want this to manifest into a job. I do, when I do journal and when I do manifestations, that is one thing I do really focus on channeling, because I would love to be able to be a content creator as a full-time job, or alongside a social media job for a company, for example, and just put all my effort and energy into that. I then know that that will involve more screen time, and I hate screen time, even though I'm on TikTok a lot recently. But that is because it's bad. But when I've hit a slump, in my writing, in my projects, etc., I just get my phone and just go on TikTok for like 10 minutes, because I'm like, I can't do this, and I do get bored of TikTok. It's not like I spend hours on it. I can't, because my feed is too similar at the moment. I really want it to spice up a bit. I just get bored on it. It's just a little um moment just to daze my mind away, I guess. And yeah, another concept that is becoming, well, it already was, but we compare ourselves a lot to other people's like academic success as well, or just success in their lives. I do talk about a lot on social media how like we envy, or like we compare ourselves to the lives of, for example, influencers, if they're doing brand deals and deals which mean they get like a free holiday or all this free like goodie bags of stuff. I don't know. And we compare ourselves to them and we're like, oh my God, I really want that in life. If you want it, go for it. Don't complain about it. That's what I've learned recently. Yeah, okay, it sucks that there's people better than us, but they're not better than you. They just have a different life, and we all have different lives. Someone could be envying your life, and you might think that that is really unlikely, but someone might be, okay? But then at the same time, never compare yourselves to people online or even people you know in person, because you don't know what's going on. You don't know the full story. Especially social media obviously um, falsifies and only shows one side of the story. We all know that. And that's kind of annoying. We all know that's annoying. But just don't compare yourselves to lives just because you don't know the full picture, okay? But then there comes a concept of comparing our like academic success, for example, to our friends. And at school, for example, it was always a competition between a couple of us in our class. Like in my German class, we were all kind of the same level. There's only 4 of us as well, so we were constantly competing. And me and the only other girl in my Spanish class, we were like the top in the class. So me and her were always like competing as well. And there's nothing wrong with friendly competition, but sometimes I recognized that I was putting too much pressure on me. And then when someone else did better than me, I was thinking, oh, I wish I did better. Or like I was really jealous and thought, oh, I'm a bit shit. I haven't got that level. And that's not good. And I did always recognize that and try and reel myself back and think, you did the best you could, even if I didn't think I did. But you did the best you could at that moment in time. Let it go, like let it move on. And I know a lot of my other friends compare themselves all the time, and you could see that all they cared about was getting good grades. Or not even that, just beating their peers or being the top in the class. that came a lot from, I think, certain people, like their parents' pressure. Those people who were like all rounders, did everything, were good at everything. That is parent pressure. Like I just know that is. Um, but there is a point where I guess at school you just want to be good at everything. And when you're not, you get sad about it. But that's life. Like we can't be good at everything, unfortunately. And those people that seem it, they will burn out massively, and that's not good. I don't really know if there's more to say on this topic. I think I'm just going around in circles a bit, but I did just want to briefly talk about this topic of burnout because it is a very pressing thing, especially during these darker months. And I wasn't doing too well a couple of weeks ago, but I pulled myself out of it. Yeah, well, I'm kind of still in it, but I recognize it now and I'm trying to move past it. And I'm just trying to have fun again. I'm going to a concert tonight, which will be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'm meeting my best friend tomorrow before I go back to work on Sunday. So yeah, and then hopefully next week I get to go see my sister in Bath because we're planning to do a Taylor Swift night with her like housemates and her friends because we missed it last night. So and hopefully I'll also get Taylor Swift tour tickets. I just want to know when she's releasing the dates. That's all I care about. And yeah, and I've got other plans coming up. Fingers crossed I can go over to Vienna to see my I keep calling her my exchange partner because that's what we originally were a few years ago, but we're not exchange partners. We're just like we're really good friends. I always go on about her, and hopefully I can go see her before Christmas this year. And I'm really looking forward to that. These next few weeks are going to be really fun and really exciting as a lead up to Christmas, but I'm trying not to wish them away because I am genuinely loving university this year, academic wise, although it's a lot. I have missed work like this. Like, this is kind of A-level standard, like, as in the workload. Last year, I had no workload, but this year, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, even though it is stressful and causing me to create this episode. But we move on. We move on. And yeah, I hope you are feeling festive. I know it's early, but it's November and there's not long left of this year. I'm trying not to think about Christmas because I want to stay in the present. As I just said, I want to enjoy stuff. So I hope that you have a good week and have a good weekend if you're going out, etc. Yeah, I'll catch you guys soon. Please leave a review, rate, share, etc. I'm working on a different social media account for like my content creation because I kind of want to keep my personal account personal for like my friends and old friends, etc. And it is blurred and people don't like it. And I know it shouldn't be like what people like, but I want to post more university stuff on there and my friends and that kind of stuff. And then I want to focus on eating disorder awareness and mental health and my content creationness. I want to do a different page for that, but it's going to be hard to grow the platform for that. So please keep an eye out for that and follow that page as soon as you find it because I will need the followers. So thank you very much for listening and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.